Welcome back to Dolor Factor Live. Now, have you any questions you'd like to ask my guest, Dr. George Joseph, who is the island's Chief Veterinary Officer, and Mr. Michael Bobb, St. Lucia's Chief Forest Officer? Maybe you have something you'd like to share with our viewers. We're waiting for your calls, and in the meantime, I'm going to go through some of the emails. And let me just say to you, again, we're inundated with your emails, so if I don't get to read them tonight, we will do our best to ensure that one of our guests respond, and we will reply to you via email. Okay, now a couple of things. Someone has said that they're concerned about people who get toy pups. If you get them all matted, if you can't take care of them, then don't get them. It's just like buying vehicles as well, you know.
Yeah.
People buy a vehicle, you
must
must maintain them.
Yeah.
Okay, what does it take to bathe and comb a small dog? It hurts me every time I see a dog not being looked after. Yeah, I think it hurts a lot of us. Okay, a question here is about cows. Someone has said that they've heard that if, for example, you hit a cow and the owner of the cow cannot pay for the damage of your vehicle, you can keep the cow. Is that true? Have you heard of anything like this?
Okay.
Not really?
It's yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess it's one of those cases you have settling out of court.
Yeah.
We call
Right.
washma.
Yeah, washma.
And sometimes, more than not, so you find that animal vehicle owners sometimes they get hit elsewhere, and they see a cow close by.
Oh no, I don't believe.
Yes, it
What are you
happens.
going to say?
No, and that cow takes on the responsibility for damage to that vehicle.
But how? There's no
they
proof.
would make a report to the police station that the cow hit the vehicle, get the vehicle damage estimated, and most times the prices are inflated way above the value of the cow. Okay, so your cow damaged my vehicle. Are you willing to pay the damages? You cannot. The cow is my keep. Okay, we settle off. The cow is not mine. It happens all the time.
That does happen, yeah.
You know, there are cases, yes, where animals get damaged by animals. Vehicles get damaged by animals straying on the road. But sometimes as well, I mean, they fabricate the accident and claim the animal is responsible for the accident. It
Okay.
happens.
Another question is pertaining to seeing dead animals on the road. Whose responsibility is it to ensure that the animal doesn't remain with the public or
Okay,
the public?
and again, too, that's where the point of ownership
Yes, exactly.
comes in again. If you're the owner of an animal, you should make sure the animals are kept within your confines as much as possible and not left to roam freely on the road.
Yeah.
If an animal is hit by a vehicle and it's dead on the road, the responsibility of that is the Ministry of Environmental Health.
Okay. All right, well, viewers, as I said to you, the phone lines are open, so if you have any questions at this moment that you would like to ask our guests, or maybe something that you have seen in terms of the ill treatment of animals, because I mean, I have seen one or two myself, because I always remember growing up in St. Lucia, my aunt used to have this fowl she had a few of them under the house, and when I'd come from school, I would go under the house and I would, you know, feed them and so on and so forth. And I remember one day coming home and having this really lovely meal, and I went down under the house to feed the, you know, fowls, and I realized that my favorite fowl wasn't there, so I went back to my aunt and I said, "Auntie, what happened to where's the fowl? I don't see the fowl." She said, "It's in your belly." I said, "Pardon?" And I can't believe it, because I cannot believe that people can look after these animals with the intentions of eating them themselves, especially she knew how close I was. Why did she have to kill that one? Which is what I was saying earlier when I think of the farmers who do a very good job in raising these animals. I'm sure they must get, you know, sentimental or emotional values to them. How can they separate? This is, you know, this is livestock for me to sell and not get attached. But before you answer that, let's go to the phone lines. Welcome to Dolor Factor Live. Thank you for calling.
Good evening, Delia. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Good evening to you again.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Talking about animals, I was never a lover of animals, really. I mean, I wouldn't treat them bad, but to say really love them like I see some people doing. Now, I have a little boy that just loves animals. okay? I told him when he's old enough, he'll have his own, he'll have his own do at his own. But for now, at my home, you know, because every animal he sees, he feels sorry for them. And I cannot, you know, accommodate all animals at my home. But what I want to know, right, when he had a cat, he started to bottle feed the cat because it was a baby. And he started to give milk in a bottle. But all of a sudden, my son started getting sick. And I did not know what was wrong. Fever, and he wasn't eating. And then I figured, get rid of the cat, right? So I got rid of the cat, and he got better instantly. So what is it that caused? What is it that a little cat? What is it that caused him to get so sick? But then again, now the cat is grown. I gave the cat to a friend. The cat is grown now, and he wants the cat back. And we got the cat back, and now the cat sleeps by him, and he don't get sick. I sent a picture of him and the cat Delia on the TV. I don't know if it came through.
Okay, we'll check on it.
The cat sleeps by him, you know, and he don't get sick at all. So what's the difference? What caused when he was a baby, you know, and a kitten, a little one, then he used to get sick a lot, my son. But now he does not get sick anymore. And I never liked cat, but because of him, I tolerate the cat. Because he loves animals, you know. And every time the cat sleeps by him, I take a picture of it. He loves animals. But I just want to know what caused, what about a cat that caused him to get sick when the cat is a baby? A kid. All right?
Thank you very much for that. I'm baffled. Can any of you try to attempt to answer why that could be the case?
Sometimes persons can be allergic to cats and be allergic to dogs. Okay? What the caller is saying that he was a baby
at the time,
when he was being sick, and the animal was taken away, and well, he got better.
He got better, yeah. That's what
All right. I am viewing this, and it appears to me when you are a baby, your immune system is not properly developed.
Exactly.
It's quite possible that at that time he was not able to the antibody levels to whatever was causing him sick. The body was not able to produce it because of his infancy. Now he's older, more mature.
Yeah,
his system is more developed, so it now can withstand and combat whatever was causing him sick.
Here's another question for you. Who do we report animal neglect to? Now that brings me to slaps. What's happening with slaps? I mean, is that where you would report right now? Who would we report?
Okay. One is animal neglect. What is it that we refer to as animal neglect? Is that animal is not being fed for, not being given attention to. Animal is left to fend for itself. Animal is tethered and not being watered frequently or fed frequently. What is the neglect? The veterinary services responsibility is for animal health, production, and welfare as well. We are not a member of, but we partake in all the activities of the OIE, which is the World Animal Health Organization. They are also responsible for animal health production and welfare as well, establishing standards to, one, facilitate trade, two, again, to make sure that the trade that is engaged in does not pose a risk for population as far as disease transmission is concerned. And within this as well, I mean, you have production, you have trade, that the welfare of animals within the production and trade is not being compromised. There are 7 standards that has been developed by the OIE. 2 of them, no, it's 8. 2 of them are aquatic standards and 6 terrestrial standards. And again, it's basically guidelines as to being followed so that the welfare of animals are not being compromised when certain activities have been undertaken. Production of animals, transportation of animals, whether it's air transport or sea transport or terrestrial transport, so that the animals are being displaced in a manner that the welfare are not compromised, and by so doing, the quality of meat that is being derived from those animals are not compromised either. We have persons being concerned of the way animals are being treated. For instance, a tourist would drive by and see an animal tethered, and to them, that is not being practiced in their jurisdiction, and for them, they see that as being cruelty.
Yeah, but where specifically would they report it to?
You can report it to the veterinary department,
Okay.
but again, too, there are certain of the laws that is not presiding within the jurisdiction of the veterinary authority either. You have the Ministry of Social Transformation. Also, some of those laws are embedded within their jurisdiction. For instance, the Dangerous Animal Act, they are the custodians of that legislation. The registration of pets, dogs more precisely, within the cities and urban confines are within their jurisdiction as well.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, welcome to Dolor Factor Live. Thank you for waiting. Hello, you're live on DBS. Thank you for waiting. Have you got a question?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I've got a question for
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Very good program.
Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Joseph.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, how many dogs would a person be permitted to have in their household, a residential household? How many dogs are you permitted to have by law? Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
By law.
That's a tough one.
I don't think there is any law that stipulates how many dogs that you can have within your household. And again, so it's all about being a responsible animal owner. How many dogs can you afford to keep and keep properly within your household? And the same applies if you have a family. How many children are you going to have? I would assume you're going to have 5, 1, 2, 0, based on how many you think that you can properly afford. And the same applies to the animal. The animal has its own requirements, and the numbers that you would want to keep is based on how many of those that you can afford for and providing for them as a responsible animal owner.
Yeah, but Doc, let's revisit this point. I remember at some point you used to have the town and village councils was responsible for, they would call it licensing of dogs and that type of thing. And if a stray dog or dog was seen around the town, they would either catch the dog or ask the owner to tie the dog. Even the same thing with having pigs within the city, within the town. You cannot have pigs or anything or goats in that stuff. But you find now you have dogs. For example, when you have a fish Friday or Friday in Soufre or something, so you can see a series of dogs around the place eating chicken bones. I mean, who's responsible? I mean, for saying, is it the council, is it the police, is it the veterinary department? What's that?
Can you respond to that quickly
Yeah.
so we can get to the break, please?
The law is, although it is a cake, it's still there.
Okay.
And it lies within the confines of the Ministry of Social Transformation. And again, they're responsible for the village councils and city councils. So it is still there.
Okay, thank you for that. When we come back, there'll be 3 lucky people receiving some wonderful gifts. It could be you. See you back here soon.
Yeah,